Binondo, 1920. Here, 100 years ago, men of courage and vision founded China Bank to help a community of struggling but worthy merchants and traders achieve their dreams. They were driven by an impeccable code of trust and respect through the hard times and the good times. That's how China Bank successfully partnered with 5 generations of loyal clients. Today, China Bank keeps pace with evolving technology while remaining grounded on integrity and prudence. China Bank, celebrating the past, embracing the future.
Times change, but values remain.
When we look out for each other and work together as a team, there is nothing we cannot overcome. On behalf of the Board of Directors and Management, I would like to thank all of you for your unwavering dedication and commitment. Not only to serve our clients when they need us most, but also serving our country by providing uninterrupted banking services during these challenging times. You have shown resiliency, resourcefulness, perseverance, and reliability. Again, thank you. I'm very proud of all of you. Proud to be a China banker.
Ba 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 China Bank, China, 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 China Bank, China, China, China Bank, drawing strength from our rich history. We have provided unending quality. Throughout the years, we fulfilled our highest goal to serve the nation and bind them as a whole. 100 years of making a difference on people's lives, leading the present as our future arrives. We celebrate our grandiose past, to cast and set towards the waves we should surpass. Integrity, commitment, and efficiency. We have become a pillar of society. High standards, initiative, and customer service. We dream, we move, and we sing. Let us stand, we sing as one, give thanks to our past. A century of greatness, and we are here at last. We move today, serve all the way, our testament and pride. The goal and the mission, assistance we provide. We continue the journey with excellence maintained. Even though the times have changed, our values remain. With China Bank, our goal is to succeed, to grow and share, that's what our heritage believe. We now embrace the horizon in our midst. Passion, dedication, we will give. We will give. Let us stand, we sing as one, give thanks to our past. A century of greatness, and we are here at last. We move today, serve all the way, our testament and pride. The goal and the mission, assistance we provide. We continue the journey with excellence maintained. Even though the times have changed, our values remain. With China Bank, with China Bank, our values remain.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 2021 Annual Stockholders Meeting of China Banking Corporation, being conducted virtually. May I introduce the members of the Board of Directors joining us today, headed by Chairman Hans C., Vice Chairman Gilbert D., President William Wang, Mr. Peter D., Mr. Joaquin D., Mr. Herbert C., Mr. Harley C., Mr. Jose Xio, our outgoing lead independent director, Mr. Alberto Yao, and our independent directors, Ms. Margarita San Juan, Mr. Philip Chai, and Ms. Claire Ann Yap. Also joining virtually is advisor to the board and former president, Mr. Ricardo Chua. Likewise, with us are members of the China Bank management team, including our Chief Operating Officer, Mr. Romeo Uyan Jr., and Chief Finance Officer, Patrick D. Cheng. Ladies and gentlemen, the Chairman of the Board of China Banking Corporation, Mr. Hans T. C.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Similar to our regular and special meetings last year, today's annual meeting of stockholders is an online-only event. Joining us this meeting are your board directors, led by Vice Chairman, Mr. Gilbert D., President, Mr. William Wang, outgoing lead independent director and audit committee chairman, Mr. Alberto Yao, and independent director corporate governance committee chairperson and audit committee member, Ms. Margarita San Juan, our board advisor, Mr. Rick Chua, corporate secretary and attorney Corazon Morando, investors relation group head, Mr. Alex Escucha, and representative of our external auditor, SGB and Company, are also present. I am now calling the meeting to order. Madam Secretary, have you sent the required notice of meeting?
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman. Yes, we have sent and notified our stockholders about this meeting in accordance with the Securities and Exchange Commission's Memo Circular Number 6, Series of 2020, Section 49 of the Revised Corporation Code, and SEC notice dated March 16, 2021, on the alternative modes of distributing documents in connection with the holding of the annual stockholders meeting for 2021. Likewise, we have published the notice of today's meeting in the Philippine Star and Philippine Daily Inquirer in print and online formats. This was done on March 30 and 31. And management report are available in our website and the Philippine Stock Exchange EDGE submission system.
Do we have a quorum, Madam Secretary?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. I certify to the existence of a quorum for this meeting. Based on record, out of the total number of 2,685,899,812 subscribed and outstanding shares, the holders of 2,099,609,961 or 78.172% shares are present by proxy through remote communication or in absentia. Such number represents more than 2/3 of the outstanding capital stock of the bank. The final count of attendees will be reflected in the minutes.
Next item in our agenda is the approval of the 2020 minutes of annual and special stockholders meeting. Do you have the proposed resolution and results of voting for this agenda item, Madam
Mr.
Secretary?
Chairman, the minutes of both the annual meeting of stockholders on June 18, 2020, and the special meeting of stockholders on October 1st, 2020 can be accessed through the bank's website and were included in our definitive information statement. For this item on the agenda, Mr. Chairman, the adoption of the resolution displayed on the screen is being proposed in order to approve the minutes for all intents and purposes. Of the votes cast, 2,099,294,595 shares of the bank, or 99.985%, are represented in this meeting who voted in favor of the resolution.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. The next item in the agenda is the annual report. To provide information about your bank's activities, financial performance, and other relevant data for the year 2020. May I request our President, Mr. William Wang, to deliver his pre-recorded report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My fellow directors, shareholders, China bankers, and friends, good afternoon. Before anything else, I would like to express my gratitude for your unwavering trust and patronage and extend my deepest sympathies to those affected by COVID-19, especially those who lost loved ones. 2020 was an extraordinary year by any measure. Yet, amid the disruption and pain, we have seen God's grace and providence. Our medical and economic frontliners' heroism and the Filipino nation's resilience. The operating landscape in 2020 can be summed up as unprecedented. People, businesses, and economies around the world faced an adversity never seen before. In the Philippines, the limited movement of people and goods resulted in the steepest economic contraction on record. Following the rampant spread of COVID-19 cases in Europe, the United States, and Asia in March 2020, the Philippine government adopted strict measures to stem the spread of the virus in the country. Luzon and other regions were placed under various states of community quarantines, and drastic monetary and fiscal policy measures were implemented to mitigate the adverse economic consequences of the world's longest lockdown. China Bank stood on the front line to fulfill our public purpose. We resolutely provided essential services and support to help households and businesses stay afloat and to drive economic activity and recovery, while ensuring the safety and well-being of our employees and customers. Despite the macroeconomic headwinds, the strong foundation that we have built in the last 100 years, strong franchise, robust liquidity, capital strength, high governance standards, and dedicated and competent workforce, prepared China Bank for the challenges of the pandemic and enabled us to support customers and businesses facing financial difficulties. I'm pleased to report that we marked our centennial by hitting a very significant milestone of 1 trillion in assets. In the last decade, we recorded our fastest growth in our 100-year history, growing from 257 billion in 2010 to 1.04 trillion in 2020, We ended the year with 2.2 million customers with access to our full range of services through our 634 branches, 1,022 ATMs, and digital banking facilities, and serviced by our 9,825 employees. We sustained our solid financial performance, posting a 20% growth in net income to 12.1 billion in 2020, which translated to an improved return on equity of 12.1% and a higher return on assets of 1.2%. Net interest income surged by 30% to 33.8 billion due to a 39% drop in interest expense. Fee-based income grew by 19% to 10 billion, driven by higher trading gains. Operating expenses was controlled at 21.5 billion, up 6%, even as we provided for substantial COVID-related expenses. This led to a substantial improvement in cost-to-income ratio from 59% to 49%. Deposits increased by 8% to 835 billion, driven by 14% increase in checking and savings accounts, or CASA. Aside from sustained CASA growth, we continue to diversify and rationalize our funding base through our successful bond offerings of 15 billion in October 2020 and another 20 billion in February 2021. Even as economic activity drastically dropped during lockdowns, we supported our customers with 572 billion in gross loans. In addition to loans, we also help our corporate borrowers raise funds via the bond markets, in which China Bank Capital played a leading role. In 2020, China Bank Capital maintained its position as the country's #1 debt capital markets book runner, with 29.19% market share, and again topped the league table for debt capital markets deals with the most number of local currency and US dollar fixed income issuances. We continuously engage with our customers adversely impacted by the pandemic on how we can ease their financial burden. This also helped us maintain our asset quality with an NPL ratio of 2.3%, better than industry average. Additional provisioning improved our NPL cover to 128%. The increase in our bottom line also led to a 9% improvement in China Bank's capitalization to 105 billion with a CET1 ratio of 13.82% and a total CAR of 14.73%. We all faced and continue to face unexpected challenges due to COVID-19 and had to come to terms with a new reality. Amid the tumultuous changes, China Bank continues to serve and support our stakeholders with excellence, efficiency, and compassion. We continue to actively support borrowers and provided payment extensions that benefited over 173,000 customers for Bayanihan Act 1 and over 125,000 customers for Bayanihan Act 2. More than ensuring the availability of our digital banking facilities, we focused on building our customers' confidence in transacting cashless or online. We launched new mobile app features to make it easy, safe, and secure for customers to transfer funds to anyone using their mobile number or email address. We also waived fund transfer fees and strengthened cybersecurity to encourage customers to safely bank from home and to create positive experiences that could shift behavior for the longer term. We proactively communicated with customers to provide updates, financial advice, and tips, or simply reassure them that China Bank cares, in line with our role as a trusted financial advisor. We looked after the welfare of our employees. We implemented work-from-home arrangements, provided logistical support, and signed the 2020 to 2022 collective bargaining agreement with our employees' union to give our staff wage increases and enhanced benefits to help them in these challenging times. As we provide the needed banking services and support, we remain vigilant as ever in ensuring the safety and well-being of our employees, customers, and communities. We are also launching our vaccination program this year to give our employees the ultimate protection from this deadly virus. We were excited to celebrate our 100th anniversary with the theme Celebrating the Past, Embracing the Future. We planned a number of events and activities. We lighted the 100th anniversary LED sign at our Makati head office and launched Times Change But Values Remain TV commercial on social media and cable TV. But because of the pandemic, we had to forego some of our plans. Still, our centennial celebration was very meaningful with these gestures of appreciation and goodwill. For our employees, we are building on the bank's proud history by building a culture of ownership. Under our Centennial Stock Grant Plan, the brainchild of Chairman Hans See, China Bank Group employees are entitled to 100 China Bank shares for every year of service. While we are still waiting SEC approval of the stock grant, our employees are already entitled to the cash dividends that will be issued this year. For our customers, we launched a year-long deposit promo and produced special commemorative items. For today's generation and the next, we have the centerpiece of our centennial celebration, the restoration of China Bank's original head office. Restoring the 94-year-old building to its original architecture and making it more resilient for the next generation is our contribution to the revitalization of Binondo. We won a gold anvil for our 100th anniversary program at the 56th Anvil Awards of the Public Relations Society of the Philippines for the success of our centennial events and campaigns despite a scaled-back celebration in light of the pandemic. While every award motivates and inspires us to keep doing our best, we are most honored in being distinguished for our governance practices. We are especially gratified to note that we sustain our track record as a practitioner of the highest governance standards in the last 10 years. At the virtual awarding in 2021 for the Asean Corporate Governance Scorecard 2019 assessment year, we were recognized by the Asean Capital Markets Forum as one of the best publicly listed companies in the country and the region in corporate governance. China Bank was among top 3 in the Philippines, among the top 20 in ASEAN, and recognized as an ASEAN Asset Class awardee. Based on the ACGS scores, the Institute of Corporate Directors ranked the over 260 publicly listed companies in the Philippines and conferred a 4 Golden Arrow Award to the 6 highest ranking companies. China Bank was the only bank among the 4 Golden Arrow awardees. As we navigate the new normal and work towards a better post-pandemic era, we are continuously improving and innovating, embracing broader sustainability goals, supporting the government's financial inclusion initiatives, and accelerating our digital transformation to reframe the future today. Last year, we were deeply saddened by the passing of our independent director, Angeline T. Huang. This year, we express our deep appreciation to our outgoing lead independent director, Mr. Alberto S. Yao, who faithfully served on our board for the last 17 years. We are very grateful to Mr. Yao for his contributions to the bank and for his wise counsel. He also served as independent director on the boards of China Bank Savings, China Bank Capital, and China Bank Securities, all of which benefited from his experience and expertise. Thank you, Mr. Yao. We wish you all the best in all your other endeavors. We have been living with this pandemic for a year now, and we have learned a lot that we are able to deal with it better. In fact, our first quarter results show how we continue to rise to the challenge. Our net income surged 61% to 3.6 billion. Our balance sheet continues to be healthy. Our robust financial performance gives us the buffer to absorb future shocks and puts us in a good position to continue growing and supporting our stockholders into the post-COVID era. The world faced a profound crisis in 2020, but China Bank pulled through, thrived even, like every sharp downturn in the last 100 years. This is because, more than anything else, we have the best partners, dedicated China bankers, loyal customers, and supportive shareholders. Your trust and loyalty keeps us doing what we do with delight and purpose every day. Thank you very much. Stay safe and stay hopeful.
Thank you, William. Madam Secretary, may we have the proposed resolution on this item and the voting results?
Mr. Chairman, the adoption of the resolution displayed on the screen is being proposed in order to present and approve the annual report. On the votes cast, 2,098,326,221 shares, or 99.39% of the shares represented in this meeting, voted in favor of the resolution. Thus, the resolution is approved, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Let us proceed to the next item in the agenda. In his annual report earlier, President William Wang presented the financial performance and changes in the bank's financial positions for the year 2020. May we have the proposed resolution on this item and the voting results, Madam Secretary?
For this item in the agenda, Mr. Chairman, the adoption of the resolution displayed on the screen is being proposed in order to approve the 2020 audited financial statements. On the voting results, Mr. Chairman, 2,098,326,221 shares, or 99.939% of the shares represented in this meeting, voted in favor of the resolution. It is therefore approved.
Next item in the agenda is the ratification of all acts of the Board of Directors, Executive Committee, other committees, and management. Madam Secretary, do we have the proposed resolution and voting results in this matter?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. The proposed resolution for the stockholders to ratify all acts of the Board of Directors, Executive Committee, other committees, and management during the year 2020 and immediately preceding the stockholders meeting, including the ratification of related party transactions, is shown on the screen. On the voting results, Mr. Chairman, 2,098,326,621 shares, or 99.939% of the shares represented in this meeting, voted for the adoption of the resolution, which is therefore approved.
The next order of business is the election of the members of Board of Directors for the year 2021 to 2022. Independent directors and chairpersons of the Corporate Governance Committee, Ms. Margarita San Juan, will announce the nominee.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman. Based on the determination by the Nominations and Corporate Governance Committees, and as confirmed by the Board of Directors, the following nominees for directors and independent directors were found to possess all the qualifications and none of the disqualifications of a director or independent director, and their capabilities are aligned with the bank's strategic directions. The nominees for director are Mr. Hans T.C., Mr. Gilbert U.D., Mr. William C. Wang, Mr. Peter S.D., Mr. Joaquin T.D., Mr. Herbert T.C., Mr. Harley T.C., and Mr. Jose T. Shaw. The nominees for independent directors are yours truly, Ms. Margarita L. San Juan, Mr. Philip S. L. Chay, Ms. Claire Ann Tiap, and Mr. Genaro V. Lapez. For the information of our stockholders, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Genaro Lapez is a new nominee for independent director. He is a seasoned strategic and tactical thinker with extensive international experience. He has more than 10 years experience in banking and finance and decades of experience in consumer marketing. His other qualifications, educational background, and training were included in our definitive information statement. Upon determination, based on the nomination forms and attachments submitted to the Nominations and Corporate Governance Committees, he was found to be fit and proper for the position he was nominated.
Thank you, Margie. Before we proceed with the results of the election, let me express my deepest gratitude to the outgoing lead independent director, Mr. Alberto Yao. He has been with the bank board since 2004, and his exercise of his crucial roles as lead independent director and audit committee chairman ensured a strong element of independence in our board. He has also given wise counsel as independent director and in our subsidiaries like China Bank Savings, China Bank Capital Corporation, China Bank Securities Corporation. On behalf of the board and the bank, I thank Mr. Yao for all his contribution to the bank and wish him all the best in his future endeavor. Madam Secretary, may we have the result of the election?
Mr. Chairman, for the ensuing year, the bank shall have 8 regular directors and 4 independent directors. Based on the tally of votes and confirmed by our transfer agent, Stock Transfer Service, Inc. and CC Gores, Velayo and Company, the independent party tasked to count and validate the votes at today's meeting, the 12 nominees enumerated by the chairperson of the Corporate Governance Committee and also listed in the definitive information statement are declared duly elected directors. The percentage of votes garnered by each director based on the number of shares represented in this meeting are shown on the screen.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Let us proceed to the next item in the agenda. Next item in the agenda is the appointment of external auditor. May I request Mr. Joaquin D., member of the Audit Committee, to make the recommendation.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Audit Committee, composed of outgoing lead independent director, Mr. Alberto Yao, Ms. Margarita San Juan, and myself, has evaluated the performance of Scorecard Bilayo and Company, the bank current external auditor, in the past year, and found it to be satisfactory. The Audit Committee, as well as the Board of Directors, agree to endorse the reappointment of Scorecard Bilayo and Company as the bank external auditor for the ensuing year. May I ask our secretary to present the proposed resolution on this item and the voting result.
Mr. Chairman, the adoption of the resolution shown on the screens being proposed relative to the reappointment of our external auditor. On the voting results, Mr. Chairman, 2,099,294,995 shares, or 99.985% of the shares represented in this meeting, voted in favor of the resolution, which is therefore approved.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Next item of the agenda is the amendment of the bylaws. In a regular meeting held March 3, 2021, and a special meeting held on March 10, 2021, your board approved further amendments in the bylaws, in the bank's bylaws. May we have the proposed resolution and voting results, Madam Secretary?
Mr. Chairman, the proposed further amendments to the bank's bylaws aim to address the comments of the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, conform also to the BSP's manual regulations for banks, and to the revised Corporation Code of the Philippines. The same enhance the corporate governance of the bank. The comparative table of amendments is included in Schedule A of the bank's definitive information statement. Key proposed amendments include, among others, the change in the schedule of the regular meeting of stockholders from every first Thursday of May to every third Thursday of April, or if not practicable, on any day within the month of April. Likewise, clarification on the powers and functions of the chairman as non-executive director and of the vice chairman as executive director of the bank. The adoption of the resolution displayed on the screen is being proposed in relation to the matter. Of the voting results, Mr. Chairman, 2,098,336,564 shares, representing 99.939% of the shares represented in this meeting, voted in favor of the resolution, which is therefore approved.
Next item on the agenda is delegation to the Board of Directors of power to amend bylaws. In a regular meeting on April 7, 2021, your board approved to endorse a resolution in favor of the delegation of your Board of Directors of the power to amend the bylaws of the bank. This is for the purpose of addressing the requirements and regulatory agencies as regards to amend filed and pending and or be filed by the bank. Madam Secretary, can we have the proposed resolution and results of the votes?
Mr. Chairman, the adoption of the resolution displayed on the screen is being proposed in relation to the matter. Again, on the voting results, Mr. Chairman, 2,078,444,481 shares, representing 98.990% of the shares represented in this meeting, voted in favor of the resolution, which is thereby approved.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Now for the last item on other matters. Before we proceed, I am glad to announce that your Board of Directors, in a meeting held earlier today, approved a cash dividend of a total peso amounting to 2.7 billion, similar to last year's figure, representing 1 peso per share. Further, your board approved to set and or recommend May 21, 2021 on the record date as the record date and June 4, 2021 as the payment or issuance date of cash dividends, and to delegate to the President the authority to change the said dates as may be required to comply with regulatory requirements. We will now address questions and comments from our stockholders sent via email, as mentioned in the guidelines of participation in this meeting, which was posted in bank's website. Any questions or comments submitted or received that were not addressed during this live stream shall be answered directly by email to the stockholders concerned. Let me call on our Head of Investors Corporate Relation Group, Mr. Alex Escucha, who will read aloud the questions and comments, together with the names of stockholders who sent them.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have several questions received from our stockholders. The first question is from certificated stockholder Lamberto Cervania. Congratulations on your good financial performance for the full year 2020. Given that most other banks showed a decline in net incomes, is this positive performance really sustainable?
Thank you for that question. We are indeed thankful for our results so far. It looks like this year will continue to be challenging. The health and economy are interdependent right now. Prolonged lockdowns result in business closures, which causes unemployment and underemployment. Businesses that are directly affected by the pandemic continue to struggle, but we see the resiliency of the Filipino being able to work around a new normal. We expect loan growth to be muted somewhat, but we continue to provide financial support to our clients. We've seen some positive signs of business activities and hope this picks up as the government starts rolling out the vaccination program in the coming months.
Thank you, Mr. Wang. We have a second question from Marcelino Florete III. His question is, how high can NPLs go this year?
Thank you for that question. The industry forecast for NPL is about 4 to 5%. But if you compare it with the 1997 Asian financial crisis, where NPL reached 18%, I don't think this will happen because the economic environment is completely different from that time. Interest rates are at record lows, which means the burden of borrowers are fairly light and steady. We had Bayanihan 1 and 2 last year, where loan payments were extended over a period of time. We've been doing our fair share of extending loans to our borrowers just to help them get by this pandemic. The government has been very supportive in this area and has indicated that the interest environment will remain as long as it takes to help the economy.
Thank you, Mr. President. We have another question from stockholder Jasmine Ongchan. Tell us your plans for digitalization.
Okay, thank you. Early on, even before the pandemic, we started building our digital foundation already to provide an efficient alternative channel to our customers. As of this time, transactions in our digital channels have started outpacing over-the-counter transaction in our branches. The pandemic accelerated this need with people staying and working from home and pushed us with a sense of urgency. We are adding more features in our mobile app, such as the latest functionality of being able to send money using the mobile number or email address of the recipient. We are also working on an omni-channel platform that will provide seamless digital onboarding across our mobile and online banking. We will continue improving our offerings in our digital space and see a lot of opportunities that can give our best customer experience.
Thank you, Mr. President. We have a additional question, second question actually from stockholder Marcelino Torrete III through Summit Securities. They have actually given him the answer, but he said it's okay to share the question and answer with the rest of our stockholders. His question is, given that bank stock prices are down, can the bank buy back its shares? So our reply is that share buybacks are an accepted practice abroad and even here in the Philippines for non-financial companies. However, the General Banking Law of 2000, specifically Republic Act 8791, Chapter 3, Section 10, expressly prohibits banks from buying back our own shares. Mr. Chairman, that concludes our question and answer session. As indicated, we will reply by email to all other questions directly to our stockholders in the email address displayed on the screen.
Thank you, Alex. If there are no more matters to be taken up, the meeting is hereby adjourned. Again, on behalf of the Board of Directors and Management of China Bank, we express our gratitude to all who participated in today's meeting. Thank you, everyone, for your continued support.